Before you buy another piece of gear, make sure you watch this entire video. I see a lot of people on YouTube and on Instagram flashing all this new gear, what seems like every single week, and I'm also guilty of the same thing, which is why I wanted to create this video. Social media has made it incredibly easy to showcase your successes and hide your failures, and just generally not show behind the scenes of what really happens and what your successes are based on. What you don't see is the countless influencers who are getting things for free or discounted and are asking you to purchase things at full retail value with your hard-earned money. So what I want to do is give you 5 tips to save yourself a ton of time, a ton of headache, and a ton of money buying new gear. Tip number 1, sell what you don't use so that you can make room for it both financially and physically. I sell a ton of used gear that I have in order to make room for new ones, and oftentimes nothing comes out of my pocket, meaning that I'm able to break even. If I sell a lens and I'm purchasing a new one, oftentimes I'm selling something in addition to make up for that lens. Or if I'm selling it on something like eBay, I'm not taking that big of a financial loss in order to make up for what I'm trying to purchase. As a matter of fact, behind me, you'll see I'm selling gear on that side and gear behind me that's going on eBay in the next couple of days. So all that's getting sold, it's going to new homes to somebody who will actually use that gear. Tip number 2, buy what you need, not what you want. And I know that sounds ridiculous because it's photography, and unless you're making money as a photographer, why do you need the gear? But hear me out. If you have a 24-70 lens already and a new one hits the market, do you really need that lens, or is it something that you just want? Is it going to make your photography that much better by purchasing that 24-70, or is it going to detract from what you're trying to do? Ultimately, what you want to judge is, do I need this or do I want this? Another note on that specific tip is this. Make sure that you're able to have a great return on investment. So if you're spending $1,000 on a lens, can you make $10,000 from that lens? Those are things that you want to consider if you're trying to think like a business person. I guarantee buying what you need and not what you want isn't something that you want to hear, but I guarantee it's something that you need to hear. Tip number 3, when you buy used. There's still a ton of camera stores in the United States and around the world that you can go to and physically see the products firsthand. If you haven't done so already, just know that when you purchase something from a local camera store, oftentimes they will have a warranty on that specific item. So unlike eBay, if it breaks, it gives you a chance to be able to return that or warranty it to get a new one. As an example, I personally live in New York City, so it's easy for me to walk to B&H to physically see their used department and see if there's anything there that I want to go ahead and purchase firsthand. Tip number 4, before buying anything, make sure that you wait 30 days before pushing that buy button. What you don't want to do is make an emotional buying decision. So if you purchase something for $1,500, as an example, that's an emotional buying decision if you haven't thought about it for more than 30 days. Ideally, it's nice to purchase something that's new and shiny, but the idea here is to think, do I really need this? And at the end of those 30 days, if you have lived life without that product, do you really need it anyway? Number 5, which is one of the most incredibly important things you have to remember. Don't compete with other photographers. Stay in your financial lane, as Kevin Hart would say as an example. You want to make sure that you're judging what you can afford off of your budget. I see a lot of photographers envying other photographers that just necessarily don't understand the real story. Maybe those photographers are independently wealthy. Maybe they're taken care of by their families or their spouses. Those are things that you don't necessarily know as a photographer. So don't make your purchasing decisions based on what other people are buying. Buy what you can afford. That's the most important thing that you can learn as a photographer. I wish I'd have learned all of that information a decade ago. I would be much more successful and financially settled than I was in my early 20s. Ideally, if this has helped you in any way, please subscribe to this channel and share it with a friend that may need this information as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you have an incredible day.